Welcome back to Fishing Paul Bunyan Country. Chip Leer once again joining me today. We called this one Chip's Top 3 Walleye Waters, but he went 4.
Well, I have always had a hard time counting.
Well, it's hard to go 3, and I mean it's hard to go 5 in this neck of the woods. So I'm going to guess Leech Lake is probably on your list.
It's my number 1.
Number 1.
Without question. And right now, it's in great shape. It's a fun lake to fish. It's got a lot of good year classes in it. It's got a decent forage base, but it's not over foraged at the moment. So those fish are a little bit hungry, and that certainly makes for a good lake. And it's a good hand-to-hand combat lake. It's jig fishing, and we do it in a lot of different ways. We do it around weed beds. We do it on big open flats, and we can jig deep water structures all season long and catch fish. And that's what I like about Leech Lake. Plus, there's always an opportunity of a good one. There's a mid 20-inch fish, which is anything over 22 inches, it starts to get some shoulders on it, and that gets fun.
Hey, Chip Leer, my guest. We have a neat topic going today. Chip Leer's 4 favorite walleye lakes. Leech Lake, not surprisingly, was number 1. It's time to find out what comes next.
Number 2.
I think the simplicity of Red Lake is really hard to beat, and especially out our back door in the spring. Fireball, jig, and minnow lake. It produces so many fish, and I think that it's got a little bit of an emotional side to my stories because of the fact that I've taken so many nephews and so many people fishing up on Red Lake where they have single-handedly had their best numbers day ever, and literally changed their viewpoint of fishing. And that's what makes Red Lake is just the endless amounts of action and fish, especially in the springtime when they tend to load up on subtle little breaks along the shoreline.
Number 1 is Leech. Number 2 is Red.
Number 3.
Lake of the Woods. Okay. I love Lake of the Woods. I love Lake of the Woods in the middle of the summer. And I like it. And I've talked about jigging to this point, but one of my favorite parts about Lake of the Woods is fishing the deep water structure on that main basin. So pulling bottom bouncers and spinners around the basin of those rock areas is a really fun way to fish because of the fact that Lake of the Woods walleyes are angry. They're mad fish. They hit with a vengeance. They're not soft. They're not supple. They're not finicky. They are somebody. Maybe that's why so many good hockey players come out of the border because they all have a little chip on their shoulder, and that's how the walleyes are on Red Lake, I think, or on Lake of the Woods. They fight a little harder. They hit a little harder, and they when they finally come to the surface, there's always a chance that it's a big one, but even if it's a low mid 20-incher, it fights like a tank.
And Chip Leer's final selection.
Number 4.
One more, and that is if you like to take a trek out west, there is nowhere in the world like Devil's Lake, North Dakota. All these body of waters are close to our home, and what makes Devil's Lake so unique is the diversity of the fishery. The amount of options that you have in terms of locations of where to fish, and the thing and how we catch them. I talked about liking to fish, one-on-one for the most part, a jig and a plastic, a mimic minnow or an impulse paddle minnow. Those types of baits jigged inside and around the weed beds of Devil's Lake is unlike anywhere else you've seen in the world. The numbers will rival anywhere in North America, and the average size is quite remarkable. I think there's probably a bigger population of mid 20-inch fish inside Devil's Lake than just about any body of water in North America right now.